The Minister of Transport, Barbara Creecy, has announced that Transnet has completed the adjudication process to select new train operating companies. Creecy added that the move is a significant step in rail reform as it will contribute to a more efficient and reliable rail system. Now, this initiative allows private sector participation within the freight logistics system rail network. SABC News economics reporter Katlego Lehodi has more.
Transport Minister Barbara Creecy announcing some developments in terms of the country's rail reform as we see her giving us this briefing with Transnet on the work that has been underway on inviting third parties to form part of those that will help in the work of moving freight. And we see the minister giving us a little bit of a sense in terms of why this process matters, but also giving us development within Transnet that will see some of these goods moved. We hear the target still being that into 2029 of ensuring that there's at least 250 million of these tons that would be moved through freight. And I'm going to invite into the conversation with us the CEO now of Transnet, who'll just give us a sense of the work that is underway, but also looking at these companies that will now join you in working to ensure that there's a rail reform. At the same time, we hear that there have been a lot of progress in terms of ensuring that you stabilize the entity. Let's start with the announcement today. What it says to us in terms of the work that you're doing, but also how do we find ourselves here today?
Yes, thank you very much, Katleho. Look, we're very excited as Transnet. We've embraced the reform. The process today, in the media briefing, the Minister talked about us allowing third-party train operating companies onto the network, and we're very excited. We understand that as Transnet, currently we are targeting 180 million tons, but we know that there's about 250 million tons that can be moved, and we require the assistance of third-party or private operators. So we ran a process since December. The application process closed at the end of February, and very pleasingly, and a historic moment for us in the country in terms of reform, we've been now able to give conditional awards to 11 out of the 25 private companies that have applied. So we will be engaging with those 11 companies to take them through the next stages of the project so that they are in readiness to be able to get onto the network. We see them coming on over the next year to 3 years onto the network, and they have committed to moving around 20 million tons in addition to the 180 million tons that we are targeting as Transnet at the moment. But yes, and a lot of work that we are doing in terms of restoring the network and rehabilitating the network to enable it to move these volumes of freight. So you'll know that we have applied to the budget facility for infrastructure for some funding, but we have already started the work. I mean, we started the work around about 18 months ago as part of our recovery plan. We've been doing a lot of work during our annual shuts on the major lines, in fact on all of the corridors, but most of the work has been going on the ore and on the coal line, and we've been able to improve the numbers and stabilize the organization. And now you see we are delivering at the end of this financial year, we delivered 160 million tons, and we see the future is bright, and the work that we will do in collaborating with private sector and third-party operators, we are excited to get them onto the network. Yes.
What do you say to those that would have raised concerns around the roping in of the private sector within the work of government, and those that would say that it does look like we are privatizing Transnet in coming through with these reforms? As we speak right now, can you guarantee the sovereignty of the entity going into the future?
Well, yes, look, I've been employed to turn around the business. I was not employed to let it die. So certainly as a Transnet, we're working very hard to meet and exceed our targets. And the fact that we are allowing private sector into our business is not a sign of any demise. In fact, it is progress. And I think we need to celebrate that progress. The business is stable, and we are continuing to, break records on a daily basis in the ports and even on the rail line. So we are continuing to do the best that we can to support the movement of freight in the country. And, the acceptance that we also need need the private sector to support us does not mean that we are privatizing anything. Government remains the owner of this asset, and the private sector will come in with us and help us to, in fact, move more freight and grow the economy ultimately, which is what we all want.
Yeah. And just before we let you go as well, CEO, where do we see these players, these third parties playing at, and are we seeing them also helping to move coal? Because when you look at that, that becomes a huge commodity that would be moved here. How are we envisioning for this process to roll out?
So when we published the network statement, we opened it up and we essentially allowed operators to decide where they would want to play. Yes, there are operators who have decided that they want to move coal. There are operators who have decided that they want to move manganese. There are operators who have decided that they, for example, want to move containers. So it's across our network. We have not indicated to the market you are only allowed to play in a particular area, not in another area. We are inviting applications and it will go through the normal process.
Is this it, or we can still expect to see more of these windows opened or more applications? For those that are watching and they're like, I also want to be a player there, are they still welcome to approach to approach you as Transnet to come through and join part of these 11 that you've selected here?
Yes. So going forward now, we're going to run the process, of course, with the 11 that have been, let's call them conditionally awarded to now. We will run the process because there's still a few things that they need to do. There's a lot of contracting negotiations that will need to happen so that they can be successful. Then we have those who may not have been successful. We want to work with them, and we will start open up an ad hoc process again from the 1st of September, and we will work with them. They will know why they were not successful, and we will work with them to try and enable access for them, and that's how we will proceed. And then as we publish the next volume of the network statement, there will again be a process that will open for the new year.
Concerns around vandalism, electricity issues, energy and the likes, these are challenges that you are experiencing as Transnet. How do we envision them also playing out as we invite all of these third party players to come join you here?
I've always said that it is not only Transnet, first of all, it is all providers with critical infrastructure that is being attacked through theft and vandalism and criminal elements. As a country, we need to collaborate and stop that kind of behavior. Now, we believe certainly that when you bring in the private sector, they can also help in terms of protecting the network. So the intention is for all of us to work together ultimately to stop the theft and the vandalism so that we can all operate in this ecosystem and make it work for the country ultimately.
All right, really appreciate it. The Transnet CEO coming through here, Michelle Phillips, is giving us a sense of really what was announced here by the minister, but you hear her saying that it's still a long process. In September they'll open up this ad hoc process. They are still looking for more players to join these 11 in really just pushing for this rail reform in the country. I'm Katlego Logodi for SABC News in Pretoria.